Trajan Jacob, shooting guard at Florida National University from Houston, Texas. Fell in love with the game from my older brother and my older sister. They're always my role models, my idols. What makes me Trajan Jacob, like to shoot the basketball, score the basketball in a variety of different ways. I look to leave my mark while setting the scoring record again. I broke it last year with 38 points. I'm just trying to get my name on the wall and make them remember me, and hopefully one day they can retire my jersey. Coach of the team, we're running gun style, but also, we're a very big family. And we try to incorporate that in everything we do, regardless if it's on the court or even off the court. To all the FIU fans, make sure y'all show up. This year's going to be a show. We're going to put some points on the board and have fun.
We are committed.
We are uplifting.
We are strong.
We are authentic.
On the field,
in the classroom,
in the community.
It's not just something we do.
It's how we live.
It's our way.
Always pushing one another.
Working towards the same vision, stronger together.
This is the CUSA way.
We're a university founded on the side of an airport, reaching new heights. It's in our DNA. And since then, we've dedicated ourselves to solving the big problems facing our community and the world. We believe that crazy startup idea isn't so crazy, that families without health care shouldn't have to go it alone. We believe we can be better prepared for the next hurricane, and that our coral reefs can be saved. And that's because, above all else, we believe in you.
The sun sets Saturday evening in North Carolina with game pressure applied. FIU rose to the occasion. Sage Lewis, the first TD of his career. Napoleon Maxwell, a number of significant runs, speeding away after clearing congestion like a car on the Dolphin Expressway. 2 scores for the senior and 2 scores for number 2, Anthony Jones, whose return alongside Mershawn Miller, one of the most incredible stories in college football. From the ER to the end zone, Jones inspiring his teammates, the program, the FIU community. And as the final play concluded in Charlotte, the scenario for this weekend became clear. Win, and you're in the CUSA Championship. A lot of exciting storylines upcoming this week for the FIU football program. This is Panther Talk Live for the FIU Graham Center with head coach Butch Davis. Glad to have you with us once again. AJ Ricketts, Butch Davis. The team is 8-3 and a huge game week coming up. Marshall, FIU, Senior Day, 12 p.m. Ricardo Silva Stadium. Coach, congratulations on another win, 42-35, back and forth. Not a perfect game, but you find a way to get a win on the road on Charlotte's Senior Day. Well done last weekend.
Well, thank you, AJ. I told the team at the beginning of the week, I said, one of the things, I said, we're going to go there and we're going to play on the road for the second time in a row. You're going to be playing a team that absolutely is like the wounded animal in the corner. I mean, they had to win the last 2 games of the season to become bowl eligible, so don't make a mistake. You're going to get absolutely their best effort, and we did. And they're better than the record indicated. I mean, obviously, their defense was highly rated during the course of the season going into the game. I think they were number 8 in the nation in run defense, and then for us to rush for over 200 yards was a huge accomplishment. But one of the things, AJ, and we talked about it on the show last week, the style in which Charlotte plays is sometimes it's a little bit scary because it's a lot like, for the football fans that are out there, it's a little bit like the way that Georgia Tech and some of the run-oriented offenses run their program, is that they milk the clock down every time. If you watch the game, the snap, they huddle up, they went to the line of scrimmage, they looked at the defense, and they waited until there was like 2 or 3 seconds left because they want to shorten the game. They want to be able to run the ball, control the clock, and the way the game unfolded at the beginning was one of the things that I don't like. We drove 67 yards in our first possession, kicked a field goal, scored 3 points. We drove 74 yards the second possession and had to settle for a field goal. You're driving the ball, you're getting down there, you got to finish those drives because those 2 drives ate up the clock. I mean, we only had 1 possession in the first quarter, and they are ahead 7. They score 1 drive, and that's the way that they try to win football games, is if it's close, if it's a 3-point game, a 4-point game, a 2-point game, going into the last 4, 5, 6 minutes of the game, and they can run, they can score, eat up the clock, and you don't get a chance to answer. So it made me nervous early in the game.
It was kind of similar to the matchup against Rice earlier this season.
Very much so.
Not many possessions, and before you knew it, the first quarter was over. It's a 1-possession game. It was interesting when Charlotte came out for their first drive. I was getting ready to introduce Evan Sheriffs as the quarterback. I was going over his stat line. He had started the last 4 games because Chris Reynolds, the freshman starter who earned the starting spot, he was injured against Western Kentucky. And then out came Hassan Klue, who was terrific on the ground last year against FIU, a game the 49ers nearly won. And it was his last game at Jerry Richardson Stadium. And so Charlotte came out with a curveball right out of the gate.
Absolutely. And I tell you what, it kind of caught us a little bit off guard. The first possession, I don't think that we played defensively very good the majority of the game, but the first one we had predominantly worked on a lot of the running game that they had, but a lot of the passing game and stuff, and you minimize because the quarterback had not been much of a run as a threat. So obviously they came out because they had success a year ago with the quarterback running the football, and now you look at the game and the success he had on scrambles, quarterback draws, quarterback power reads. We had to do some tinkering on the sidelines to try to adjust some of the things we were doing defensively to fit who they played at quarterback.
Yeah, it really was unexpected. To put it in perspective, this entire season, Hassan Klue was 2 for 5 for negative 2 yards, and he hadn't done much on the ground either, less than 60 yards rushing, but he played the whole game. Sheriffs was nicked up and had a pretty good performance, leading them to 35 points. All right, let's delve into the game a little bit. So those first couple drives stall, but you get a big boost from the defense with that turnover. Tier Tart forces a fumble. We'll talk more about him on the show because he had a great game. Named one of the, I think Pro Football Focus named him a player of the week. But Lewis gets his first touchdown, brings it back 61 yards, and this provided a spark late in the first quarter.
And this is one of the things that you preach to the defense. Swarm gang tackling gives you chances to create fumbles and create turnovers, and obviously that's what happened. Tier got great penetration, hit the ball carrier, ball goes on the ground, and Sage being in the position to be able to scoop it up, there's the ball, lay it on the ground, and we do it every day in practice. We talk about creating turnovers, picking up fumbles, getting to the sidelines, and getting the escort to get them into the end zone. That was a great opportunity and a great play by our defense.
I think a lot of people thought the play was over, and all of a sudden the ball popped out, and Lewis certainly took advantage of it. And again, Tier Tar, let's go over his stat line. 4 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, a sack, and a forced fumble. And I think he really showed this weekend what he's capable of when he's playing at his best.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, when he is playing at his best, he can be so disruptive. And it's one of the things that you really want out of your defensive tackles. You want them to be big and strong and powerful and be able to kind of control the interior part, but you also want them to be penetrators, because whether linemen are pulling or whether it's the quarterback preventing him from stepping up in the pocket, letting the outside speed rushers, put more pressure on him. But clearly, without question, every week over the last 2 or 3 weeks, he's gotten better and better and better. And I'm not going to draw the defensive analogy like James Morgan, because it took James 2 or 3 weeks into the season to feel really, really comfortable. And obviously, Tier coming in, you'd love for those guys to have had spring practice, learn the defense, know what their responsibilities are. But every week over the last, like I said, the last month, Tier's gotten significantly better, become more of a contributor, and understands the defense much better.
Offensively, pretty impressive game for Napoleon Maxwell. Only carried it 7 times at a 39-yard TD, a 52-yard TD. That's his career high. Bested it by 1 yard from that UCF touchdown last year. 7 carries, 102 yards, second 100-yard game of the season. Nice game for Napoleon Maxwell.
You know what, and I'll tell you, Napoleon would be the first one to say this, that a lot of times when you have those long runs, look how good the blocking at the point of attack by the offensive line was, and then some of the other ones that he had and Anthony had. The receivers did an excellent job getting to the second level and pinning a corner, pinning somebody, and you can see right here, he makes the free safety miss. The free safety's got a downhill, inside-out angle. He makes a little bit of a wiggle, makes him miss, and then obviously Napoleon's got the speed to score from anywhere on the field.
Yeah, turned down the Jets, and there was no catching him once he got to the outside, but good job by the guards and tackles to pull across. Neil Mars on that first touchdown laid a key block for Napoleon Maxwell getting into the end zone. And, of course, the guy who had the majority of the carries in the first half, I mean, he was a workhorse in the first half. I don't think another running back had a touch until later in the second quarter, but Anthony Jones, 11 carries, 72 yards, 2 receiving touchdowns on the shovel pass and the little pitch, but man, when he got in against FAU, that was an accomplishment within itself. But to get in the end zone and twice, that just speaks volumes. And how special was that?
Oh, Lord. I mean, obviously, we talk about it all the time. I mean, it is just an unbelievable miracle that Anthony's playing and Mershon's back, and Mershon actually played a week ago. And so getting those 2 guys in the game is is just unbelievably for our team and obviously for those two guys. And got a text from Anthony's mom, Betty, after the game, and she said, we're talking about how, thank the Lord that, son's healthy, he's playing, scoring touchdowns, and he is excited to be back on the team.
Yeah, it's an incredible storyline as there is in college football this season. Jones scoring touchdown, Mershawn Miller laying blocks. Love to see it as FIU makes their push towards the conference championship. Last regular season game this weekend. We'll preview Marshall, look back on last year's big win up in West Virginia on the road, and much more. You're watching Panther Talk Live with Butch Davis.
I'm Antonio Day, freshman at Florida International University from Durham, North Carolina. What excites me the most about the game of basketball, just the intensity of it and how it's a team effort and just the passion I have for the game. What does it mean to me to be a part of the FIU basketball program? It means a lot because Coach Ballard and the rest of the staff put trust in me. I just really enjoy the family vibe that we have here. I just look forward to having a winning season, just learning the ropes from the older guys and just doing what I can to help my team win this year. What type of impression I want to leave here at FIU? I just want to be one of the greatest players to come through this program and have my jersey someday retire on the walls with some of the other greats.
We're a university founded on the side of an airport, reaching new heights. It's in our DNA. And since then, we've dedicated ourselves to solving the big problems facing our community and the world. We believe that crazy startup idea isn't so crazy, that families without health care shouldn't have to go it alone. We believe we can be better prepared for the next hurricane, and that our coral reefs can be saved. And that's because, above all else, we believe in you.
Brian Beer Jr., FIU basketball senior point guard from Rancho Cucamonga, California. I've been playing the game since I was 3 years old, so it's something I have a love for the game. This year is just some more competing, some more working hard. Every day is tough. The coaching staff is a great coaching staff. Everybody, we all get along. It's just a different feel to the team this year, and I feel like we're gonna be good. The individual goals: make a first team all conference, break some more records, more steals records, assists records, and just win. I just want to win. I want to be known as a winner. Let's come out this year and find out, man. It's gonna be a good year. We're gonna get a lot of wins. Hopefully everybody comes, pack the stands.
We are committed.
We are uplifting.
We are strong.
We are authentic.
On the field,
In the classroom.
in the community,
It's not just something we do.
it's how we live.
It's our way.
Always pushing one another.
Working towards the same vision.
Stronger together.
This is the CUSA way.
Well, 6 wins in the past 7 games for FIU. 8-3 overall. It's Marshall Week, Monday of Marshall Week, as Her and Doc Holliday get set to come down here after last season, a 41-30 victory for FIU. And a lot of ramifications this weekend. Saturday at noon, Ricardo Silva Stadium. Glad to have you with us on Facebook Live. AJ Ricketts, Butch Davis. Before we talk about Marshall, a little more film study, I suppose, from this past weekend's game against Charlotte. A little play that may not be on the top 5 or stand out on the highlights, but really makes a difference over the course of the game. Let's spotlight Austin Maloney here. Third quarter, first play of the third quarter, catches it 10 yards deep. 3 black jerseys around him, and he's going to turn this into a 25-plus yard gain. Just a savvy veteran.
Yeah, I tell you what, and not only was it a great route, and one of the things he does is he catches the ball with his hands, protects the ball, gets to the outside, and you can see one of the drills that Aubrey Hill does all the time with the receivers is watch the stiff arm. Watch him put his hand on the body to separate himself from the corner. Now he gets to the boundary, he's got the speed to pop down the sidelines and turn what could be a 6, 7, 8 yard play into a 35-yard play.
He laid the stiff arm and wasn't pushed out of bounds until 30 yards later.
Yeah, I know.
That's an effective stiff arm.
But those are drills. I mean, if you came to practice every day, you would see Aubrey doing some kinds of drills like that every time, because you never know when a guy's going to miss a tackle and do exactly what happened there, turn a small gain into a huge gain.
Yeah, no one protected the boundary, and Austin Maloney took advantage of that. Another receiver who had another impressive day. Great to see him contributing at that level. Shamar Thornton came into the game, 3 receptions, 72 yards Saturday evening. 4 receptions, 61 yards. Pretty good game for him. He's been nicked up a little bit, but he showed what he can do when he's healthy.
He really did, AJ. And obviously, you know, at the end of the last season, I mean, he was highly productive. After we lost our 2 starters, you know, he and Bryce Singleton did a great job as freshmen coming in the last couple of games of the season. And unfortunately, he hurt his knee. And he tried to come back a couple of weeks ago. He caught a touchdown, but he aggravated it a little bit. It's not something that needed surgery, but it just needed time to heal, to give him his explosiveness, his speed back. And obviously, it was good to see his contribution this past Saturday because he looked like himself.
The only disappointing thing about his 3rd catch of the season, I think 2 weeks ago, was that it wasn't a touchdown because the first 2 catches for him were touchdowns. Right. We're like, throw it to him every time. It's tough to have that type of efficiency with every catch.
It's good to get him back in the pool of receivers because it lets us keep fresh guys on there, and he's explosive, and he gives you the opportunity to get big plays.
Yeah, that pool of receivers kind of replicates the pool of defensive linemen you have in the rotation. You're able to cycle through game in and game out. All right, talking last year, the matchup against Marshall. Like double-digit underdogs, the team came away with a 41-30 victory on a dreary day in West Virginia. But you guys came out strong, took a 14-0 lead, ended Marshall's 5-game win streak, and proved you guys could play in the cold. No problem with that. So it was a really impressive day.
Yeah, I mean, we were fortunate. The temperature didn't dip to the level. I think it was like in the higher mid-40s last year. A little bit of a gray, casty day, but you know the kids responded to that. But the big thing last year, AJ, if you remember, the most important thing was we created a lot of turnovers during the course of that game. I mean, Brad Muhammad started the second half with a pick 6. They threw a hitch play into the boundary that it looked like it was going to be an easy throw and catch for them, and stepped in front, took it into the house. We had a couple of other sack fumbles. We had an opportunity that we created a big play in special teams, and Thomas Owens had some big catches, and so it was a good performance all the way around by the entire team.
Yeah, the old school FIU jacket on.
Yeah, there you go, exactly.
Yeah, he's taking some looks at the highlights. Look at that hitch, and Thomas Owens doing it again. A really fun game, a contest in which you guys led 35-7 at one point. Ended up with a 41-30 victory. All right, fast forward to 2018. Marshall having an impressive season, 7-3 overall. They've won 4 of their last 5. Their most recent victory, 23-0 against UTSA. So you look at the weapons that the Herd bring to South Florida. This one, they recruit South Florida too. They love coming down here. Tyler King averages 6.1 yards on the ground. Isaiah Green, their quarterback, 12 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, nearly 2,000 yards. With their playmaker at the wideout spot, Tyree Brady, 7 touchdowns. South Florida kid. They got a lot of weapons.
They really do. I tell you what, they're really one of the most complete teams that we play. Defensively, they're outstanding. I mean, they're highly ranked in almost every category defensively. And like you just talked about, offensively, they got explosive wide receivers. They got one of the biggest, most powerful, and most veteran offensive lines. I mean, that we will have played this entire season. Good running backs, and the quarterback is explosive. He can make plays. He can throw. I love the cut that you just showed a while ago. He's got the touch that to be able to throw that outside fade 35, 40 yards down the field. You know, and Doc Holliday, you talked about being able to recruit in Florida and stuff. I mean, his days as an assistant coach at West Virginia, and then his days at the University of Florida, you know, he built relationships, and so they've been able to recruit kids throughout the state of Florida, and he does an excellent job not only recruiting but coaching.
Should be a great matchup this week, and we'll talk more about it as we finish off today's show. We'll take a break right now. When we come back, we'll take your Twitter questions. Before we go to the break, though, a birthday shout-out, birthday greetings to our guy, Alex Magoo. Happy birthday, having a great time out in Seattle. It was great to see him last week. We'll be right back on PantherTalk Live.
Shooting guard at Florida National University from Houston, Texas. Fell in love with the game from my older brother and my older sister. They're always my role models, my idols. What makes me Trajan Jacob, like to shoot the basketball, score the basketball in a variety of different ways. I look to leave my mark while setting the scoring record again. I broke it last year with 38 points. I'm just trying to get my name on the wall and make them remember me, and hopefully one day they can retire my jersey. Coach of the team, you know, we're running gun style, but also, you know, we're a very big family, and, you know, we try to incorporate that in everything we do, regardless if it's on the court or even off the court. To all the FIU fans, make sure y'all show up. This year's going to be a show. We're going to put some points on the board and have fun.
We're a university founded on the side of an airport, reaching new heights. It's in our DNA. And since then, we've dedicated ourselves to solving the big problems facing our community and the world. We believe that crazy startup idea isn't so crazy, that families without health care shouldn't have to go it alone. We believe we can be better prepared for the next hurricane, and that our coral reefs can be saved. And that's because, above all else, we believe in you.
I'm Antonio Day, freshman at Florida International University from Durham, North Carolina. What excites me the most about the game of basketball, just the intensity of it and how it's a team effort and just the passion that I have for the game. What does it mean to me to be a part of the FIU basketball program? It means a lot because Coach Ballard and the rest of the staff put trust in me. I just really enjoy the family vibe that we have here. I just look forward to having a winning season, just learning the ropes from the older guys and just doing what I can to help my team win this year. What type of person I want to leave here at FIU? I just want to be one of the greatest players to come through this program and have my jersey someday retire on the walls with some of the other greats.
We are committed.
We are uplifting.
We are strong.
We are authentic.
On the field,
In the classroom.
in the community,
It's not just something we do.
it's how we live.
It's our way.
Always pushing one another.
Working towards the same vision.
Stronger together.
This is the CUSA way.
There's what we're looking for. Birthday greetings from FIU and Panther Talk Live to QB12, Alex Magoo. I miss seeing him hurdle defenders on his way to the end zone. Happy birthday, Alex Magoo, as he continues to be part of that Seattle Seahawks organization. They're in the playoff hunts out in that NFC West. Tough to be in the same division as the Rams right now. It's going to be a fun matchup tonight, LA and Kansas City. They had to move that game from Mexico to LA with the turf conditions.
You know what, Jay? We actually played in the same arena, in Aztec Stadium, when I was with the Dallas Cowboys, and the field was awful. It was back in August. It wasn't tore up as bad as it is now, but the grass that they grow it for soccer players. Okay, and they want the ball to roll really fast. You put Nate Newton and a bunch of 340-pound offensive linemen, it looked like we had run a herd of buffaloes through there. By the end that game was over, they had to completely replace probably the entire sod.
You have two 9-1 teams in the NFLPA going. They said, all right, we'll move the game to Los Angeles. You can't have guys getting hurt in a game like that. But happy birthday, Go. He's traveling with the Seahawks. A great situation for him. Hope everything's well. All right, show the people. We take your Twitter questions. A lot of engagement this week. Let's see what we got first. Coming up, FIU JM coach, how long did you guys wait to call that Maurice Alexander trick pass play? How long was that in the playbook?
It's been in the playbook obviously all year long. But a lot of those things, you look at opportunities to how does something supplement plays that you've previously been running and stuff. We've run a lot of plays with Maurice, and obviously his quarterback background gives him an opportunity to be a really good thrower. And he was as mad as anybody I've ever seen because it didn't score. I mean, he threw it, and he needed to put a little bit more air on it. Let the receiver run underneath it. But it was a huge big play, and obviously it led to a touchdown.
Maybe Shamar was a little too wide open.
Yeah, maybe so.
Maybe we'll give him the break. Next question says, Coach, we struggled against the run, but FAU ranked top 20 in the nation. Marshall barely breaks top 100. Rice, Western Kentucky, UTSA teams we've done well against below that threshold. How do you motivate the team not to overlook stats and come ready against Tyler King in the run game?
Yeah, I tell you what, I mean, the running game, we really worked on it, focused a lot on it against UTSA to try to eliminate some of the things. And it's been frustrating. I got to be honest with you. Coaches and the players are just as frustrated that obviously, the gap control and gang tackling and stuff, every time that we try to create new things to do defensively, with the young, we're replacing 8 starters from last year. So, we don't have that a huge amount of game experience with a lot of the guys. We're talking about Tierra Tart a while ago. I mean, he wasn't even in the program a year ago.
Talon.
And then we're playing with Jamal Gates at linebacker. We're playing with Ed Freeman that played linebacker at Texas last year. So, I mean, it literally, you'd love to have that body of work where they had played together during the spring. They'd played maybe some last year together. But we're not fortunate enough to have that, but we've got to do a better job than what we did this past Saturday.
All right, next question from Eddie Hondell. early signing day question. How many players are expected to sign? Do you guys get apprehensive in the final days as other schools try to learn? We obviously can't mention recruits until they actually sign with the program. But just that dynamic as signing day approaches, the year 2 of the early signing day just adds another element with all the bowl game preparation and everything. But what's that dynamic?
Yeah, I'll tell you, AJ, to be honest with you, our coaching staff, I mean, they've worked extraordinarily hard over the last 8 or 9 months identifying guys. And one of the things that I hope is different than maybe the previous FIU program in recruiting, we're going after the best players. I don't care where they are. Obviously, a huge, gigantic focus in the state of Florida. That's where you'd like a large percentage of your players, 60 to 70% of the guys that you sign. But we're not ever going to put ourselves in a situation that if we don't recruit guys, one of the bare minimums are they got to be better than the guys that are currently on the team. I mean, you don't want to recruit guys that can't come in and push guys. We're not looking for depth. We're looking for high-profile playmakers, guys that can come in and really help you elevate the talent level of your entire team.
If you've been paying attention to Twitter and some of the highlights that have been thrown around recently, you know that's certainly the case here. Exciting to see some of the people who have verbaled to come into the program. One more Twitter question here, pulling it up on the cellular here. Given the issues, this is from @EngraftedOnes, given the issues that G5 schools like UCF are having advancing further up the rankings despite 2 undefeated seasons, are there plans to strengthen FIU's out-of-conference schedule for the future? That just brings up a whole a bigger storyline in terms of, UCF, they'll say they try to schedule people, but they don't want to schedule back, and what can the group of 5s do to be a part of that college football playoff picture? Look at our schedule. I had Miami and Indiana, 2 Power 5 schools in the top games of the season. Last year, UCF, who's clamoring to be up there right now. But what's that strategy like?
That's exactly what we're doing. I mean, Pete Garcia is reaching out, and as you try to build a schedule for the previous coming years, I mean, we're going to end up having to play a return game to Indiana down the line. Obviously, we've got Miami next year. I mean, he's reaching out to people to try to make sure that we have a minimum of at least 2, and maybe some years, maybe 3. I know that there's a little bit of conversation going on with us trying to reschedule UCF, somewhere down the line, home and home. We're working on it, and I think that's a big part of trying to grow your program.
From your experience and what you've seen from even when you're at ESPN, traveling to other programs, and your time in the Power 5, how difficult is it as you become a very successful Group of 5 program to get those games against Power 5s that you want, that can help your strength of schedule, not just an average? Because UCF ran into that problem. They scheduled, I think, Maryland and Georgia Tech, and they weren't as high level when they played them as they would have liked them to be.
Yeah, I think sometimes it is a little bit of an issue. I mean, there's teams in some of the Power 5 conference teams that they look at people and they go, you know what, hey, we maybe better not try to recruit those people. I know a couple of years ago when Western Kentucky had a really good team in a program, there was people a little bit nervous about playing them. Obviously, teams like Houston and teams in the AAC, people are a little bit nervous about signing Memphis, some of those, Memphis and stuff. So, but I think as you grow your program, once you get the talent on your team, it's like being a coach at Miami when we were an independent before we joined the Big East Conference. It's like we'll play anybody, anywhere, anytime. Let's go do it. That's how Florida State built their program with Bobby Bowden, and that's how Miami built their program.
Great mentality to have as we move forward with scheduling and what's upcoming next year. All right. Neat day yesterday for one of the guys on the team, Daniel Jackson. All right, so he's the grandson of an African-American pioneer in NASCAR, Wendell Scott, who was the first African-American NASCAR driver. Right? That's Jackson with Bubba Wallace. And if you follow NASCAR, Wallace is racing royalty. Just shooting the breeze yesterday at Homestead for that race. Ray Allen, rubbing shoulders with the NBA greats. A pretty good, pretty neat experience for D. Jackson.
And what a great way to celebrate. I mean, we had the team had a win. He made several tackles on the special teams, and he ended the game with an interception at the end of the game. His first career interception, and to get a chance to go down there, and I know his family's unbelievably proud of him. He's a great student and a great player, and we're fortunate to have him on the team, and to have that history with NASCAR. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Richard Petty was tweeting back at him. Thanks for joining us, Bubba Wallace. Again, the whole Wallace family synonymous with NASCAR. All right. How many times have you been able to get to the infield, get on a trailer, be part of a NASCAR race? How many races have you been to? You had any chance to do that?
Once. And as a bowl, at North Carolina, we went to a bowl game there in North Carolina, in Charlotte. got in a NASCAR, scared the living daylights out of me, going around for 3 laps at 150, 165, and then I think 180, and it was like, oh my God, I can't imagine what it'd be like if there was 40 other cars on this track.
It's great perspective because you're going 145, 155, 65. You're nearly losing your lunch.
Yeah.
And then, like, you want to go faster?
Yeah. And these guys go over 200 miles an hour with 40 other cars on there. It's like, whoa, my God.
I think the thing people don't realize when they go to their first NASCAR race, and I'm saying this as someone who's never been to a NASCAR race, just low-level stock car racing on the dirt tracks back home, it's loud. Oh, it's so loud. You better bring the earplugs. You're not going to hear anything the next 24 hours.
Absolutely. The cars are extraordinarily loud, and there's always activity going on. The crashes and, clearing off the track and stuff like that. I mean, and when you get in there and you see those guys drive, I don't know this. They got to be great athletes. Their instincts and their reaction and just their ability to anticipate cars moving and studying other cars. I mean, there's got to be 1,000 things that I don't have a clue what's going on. But just seeing them and knowing how fast and like, oh my God,
I think they lose 10 pounds of sweat every race or something like that.
Yeah,
you got to be an athlete.
Yeah, you definitely better be an athlete.
I've been a little disengaged from the NASCAR scene since my guy Jeff Gordon retired. I still don't know who to pick. You have any favorite driver? Did you ever? I mean, you've got stuff to do on weekends, Coach.
Yeah,
you don't have time to watch the races on Sunday. All right, time to finish off the show with top 5 plays from this past weekend against Charlotte. Here we go. Number 5, James Morgan launching it downfield to Austin Maloney. And the foul, took the flag and the catch. What a great physical play.
Yeah, terrific job. And obviously, Austin did a great job of tracking the ball. It looked like the ball was going to be an over-his-shoulder throw, but it was a little bit underthrow just from the standpoint of how far James had to throw it at 60, 65 yards, and he was able to come back and make the catch. Great play by Austin.
Number 4, Napoleon Maxwell. Look at that block from Neil Mars. And that O-line pulling across, and that gets him to the end zone.
It did, and I love the way our offensive line, again, we played 7 or 8 guys in the game, and they were very efficient. They did a great job opening holes. They did a great job keeping the pocket clean, and you can see Napoleon right here. He's got enough athletic ability that if guys aren't good tacklers, he's going to make them miss.
You better wrap up or you'll see him in the end zone. Number 3, Maurice Alexander, just like his days at Booker T. There he goes. Should have been a touchdown, he said, but he'll take the completion.
He was mad at himself that he kind of underthrew it, but I tell you what, he did a great job. The design and the scheme of the entire thing worked out exactly as you thought. The safety probably overlapped a little more than we anticipated. He was able to make the tackle.
Number 2, if your offense is stalling, give the defense a call. Sage Lewis and Tierra Tarts. Nice defensive play, and Lewis scampers to the end zone.
No doubt about it. And Sage got a chance to flash his 4.6 speed right there. He looked like a running back going down the sideline.
Took a late hit out of bounds, but got right back up and had a very effective day. The number 1 play helped wrap things up in the 4th quarter as it was going back and forth. Maxwell, his career-long run, 53 yards to the house.
Yeah, again, and same thing, going into the boundary and kind of had them outnumbered. The offensive line did a great job blocking at the point of the attack. One of the guys that doesn't get mentioned an awful lot is the tight end, doing a great job pinning the defensive end into the boundary and allowing the 2 pullers to get outside. Once Napoleon gets into the open and stuff, he's got enough speed. Obviously, it's going to be very difficult to catch him.
Another 100-yard game, his second of the season, had one against UMass, and 102 yards Saturday against Charlotte. All right, this is a big weekend for the FIU football program, one of the biggest in the history, a chance to appear in the Conference USA Championship game for the first time since they moved to Conference USA. Got to keep the focus on this week, not the bowl projections, not UAB. The focus has got to be on Marshall. And it's going to be a great matchup this weekend.
Yeah, AJ, and we keep preaching to the players, only control what you can control. You can't control predictions, bowls, next week, all that kind of stuff. Our own preparation, great practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, making sure that we're as prepared as we possibly can on Saturday, and on an individual basis, and this is with coaches, with me as well, make sure that this is our best week. Last game of the season at home, senior day, a lot to be accomplished. Let's focus on this week and make sure it's a positive week.
Last thing I want to ask, it's a holiday week, so Thursday, anything lined up for the guys Thursday or Friday? How's the team going to spend Thanksgiving this time of year?
Yeah, actually, to be honest, we were going to practice early Thursday morning, give them Thursday afternoon to go home home in the
Good,
communities and spend time with their families. Then we're going to have a team Thanksgiving dinner on Friday where everybody comes. Coaches bring their wives, and kids and players will all be there. So it'll be a good family environment.
Yeah, FIU family, with coaches' wives, families, brothers, sisters. It'll be great to have the family around the program as we prepare for a pretty big week for FIU football. Coach, best of luck this weekend. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
We'll see you later down this week at practice. All right, have your Thursday meals, eat the turkey, take a nap, and get out to Ricardo Silva Stadium this weekend. You've got 2 days to recover from your feast. Get out to the stadium. It's senior day. A lot of seniors to be honored. A big game to be won as FIU looks to make their first appearance in the Conference USA Championship. A big week for FIU football upcoming. The most wonderful time of the year. You've been watching Panther Talk Live with Butch Davis. We'll see you this weekend. Have a good one.